Hello, silver enthusiasts. Welcome back to fullboresilver. Well, that's right. The US dollar has declined to almost 194th an ounce of silver, almost 1/4700th an ounce of gold. The debasement continues. Now, I know all your friends from Zimbabwe and Venezuela are bragging about how many zigs and bolivars their portfolios are up this year, but if your currency is being debased to zero eventually, is that really a fair metric? Same kind of goes for the US dollar, continually debased every year. And I've got friends that brag about how much their portfolios are up. Oh, I made a killing in NVIDIA in 2025. Well, I don't really want to hear about how well you're doing with NVIDIA in US dollar terms unless we talk about the fact that half of all fiat currency ever created by humans on this earth was created in the last 5 years. Do you think that inflates the US dollar a little bit? Yeah, that's right. A lot of M2 money supply out there. That's why we stack silver. That's why we stack the precious metals. And we are so early, it is not even funny. I want to show you a chart of silver versus the US dollar. And then all the top callers, I want them to examine this chart and I want them to call a top on silver after looking at this chart. Take a look. All right, guys, here's the chart I wanted to show you. Silver versus USD going back to about 2007 on the monthly chart. As you can see, we're at basic all-time lows, silver versus the US dollar, with all the dollars they've printed, infused into the economy, debased, etc. We have such a run. We are so early in this cycle, even to get back to 2011 levels, and we're going to skyrocket past that because silver is completely critical to modern life, industry, the build out of anything, technological expansion, etc. So hold on to your physical silver, accumulate on retracements, dollar cost average, but we are so early in this cycle. Now, I found an old text between me and a friend from 7/9/23. I was imploring him and a bunch of other people to start stacking silver. It was Monday, 7/10/23. The market opened with a high of $23.17 an ounce, a low of $22.75. Remember the good old days when you could stack silver at those prices? Here's exactly what I said. I said, BRICS is both a reaction and a catalyst to US dollar devaluation. Gold and silver will rise. BRICS is tethered to gold. I also said, silver is in every computer, phone, missile, vehicle, solar power. I was trying to appeal to sort of a base level of knowledge about the industrial uses, but also the macroeconomic view of silver. Then again, on May 17th of 24, I said, don't buy SLV, buy physical. The price at that time was $31.59 as a high. A low was $29.46 an ounce. Also, right around that date, Kirk Elliott of KEPM Gold set a target on silver of 100 per ounce within 2 years. Pretty damn accurate. Again, on 5/31/24, I told this guy, buy physical. It indemnifies against collapse of brokers, power grid failure, ETF custodian collapse. Don't buy SLV. Government confiscation, war, legal liens, societal collapse, and ETFs are not FDIC insured. I said, if you go to flea markets, and this is still true, you go to flea markets in Arizona, North Carolina, Fredericksburg, Texas, the big one out there, you will find vendors that are willing to trade Eagles and Libertads. They cost, at the time, around $34. I said, now, as the US dollar continues to debase and inflation soars, that same coin could go to 60, 100, 500. Well, my first two estimates were wrong because it's much higher on both accounts. I mean, throwing the US Mint pricing aside, SD bullion is up around 110 on Eagles, and you got to pre-order them. So I said, the currency collapse, the fiat, there's been multiple examples, the French assignat, the Hungarian pango, the Zimbabwe dollar, countless examples. All fiat currencies eventually get debased to zero. So you don't want to hold your money in that. It is a continual downward decline as these governments print more and debase more and steal more and launder more and increase wars around the world, etc. The US dollar is not a store of value or a store of wealth. Now, I've kind of been going around on Facebook, Craigslist, etc., looking at private sellers. I found a lot of people that are buying silver online, and I'll buy your junk silver, I'll buy your eagles, I'll buy your bullion, whatever. There's a few people that are selling small amounts. There was one guy, he was here out of Central Texas, and I think he had 10 ounces of JM rounds or something, and I guess he had a bar or two or whatever, and against my better judgment, I decided to put out the feeler to him. I thought it might be cool for the channel to grab one, and I've got a little tester kit and, run it through the testing, etc. You would have thought this guy was Eric Sprott. I mean, he thought he was like the Pablo Escobar of silver. Wheeling, dealing, it was 85 an ounce, and then like a day later, oh, I can't let it go for less than 95 an ounce, like prices all over the place. Finally, I was like, forget it, buddy. I've already stacked well in excess of what you have. Also, you shouldn't be selling your physical silver. You were so damn early in the cycle. It's ridiculous. But evidently he got rid of it all, and he had multiple bidders on that. So a little bit of a anecdotal. I'm going to hit some coin shops here in coming days, and I did hit the pawn shop in Kyle, Texas a few days ago, and again, completely sold out. So it might be different in your locality, but that's what I'm finding here in Central Texas, and so we'll continue to investigate there. But yeah, US dollar, 1/94 of an ounce. It is amazing on these eagles. It's kind of comical that they still say United States $1, okay, for 1 ounce of fine silver. Yeah, they got to get a grip. Your own US Mint selling for $1.73. So, yeah, it looks like we are in a falling wedge here. We're consolidating a little bit after ripping right through 94. So let's see where this goes. I want to hit 95. And I was texting back and forth when we hit that 94 level with Aaron from Texas Silver. We were both jacked about it. So we'll see how this goes. Let's get 95 and go from there. Boy, it is going to be interesting also to see how miners gap up tomorrow. We've got quite a few miner holdings, so we'll see what happens there. But until then, have a fantastic evening. Full bore silver. Thank you.